Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki and I'm a homeschooling mom of 6 kids. I have been homeschooling since my oldest was 3, so he will be 14 in just a week. So yes, we have always homeschooled. Yes, we are going to homeschool all the way through middle school and high school. Lord willing, that is the plan. And I'm so glad you found our space because in today's video, we are going to be talking history, what we are using for history. Yes, I've changed it. No, it is not the good and the beautiful anymore. And I've changed it to something else and it's so good. So we're gonna be talking about what I'm using for history for my elementary and high school age students and how I bring it all together for our family to be able to do it family style. So if you are interested in today's video and more like this, please like and subscribe to our channel. Like this video. It means so much to me. It makes me know that this is right where God wants me. It helps boost our channel, which helps grow our channel. So a like and a subscribe really does help. So in today's video, like I said, I'm going to be sharing our current history. It is very important, like I said, for me to do this family style. Just because I have 2 children in high school this year does not mean that I'm just going to boop, here you go, get on the computer, do your school. Oh, we did it, let's move on. Oh, and me as the homeschool mom, not be present at all. That is not my goal. That is not why I homeschool. I am going to go the extra mile. I'm going to go above and beyond. I'm going to lose sleep prepping these things. That is the kind of homeschool mom I want to be. That is what I feel like the Lord has called me to be. I don't feel like sitting at a computer for all of their subjects is the definition of what homeschool should be like. I feel like it is my job as their mom and their teacher to walk alongside this with them. And so no matter if they're in middle school or high school, we are still going to be trying to do family style learning. And this is the perfect way to do it. So first up, we have history pockets, and we are kind of doing like a westward expansion and this topic here, this is by Evan Moore, The Moving West. And so what is in these pockets are the Introduction to Moving West, The New Frontier, Exploring Wilderness, Missionaries at Work, On the Oregon Trail, The Native American Struggle, Settling the Far West, The Gold Rush, Homesteading the Great Plains, and Building the Railroads. So let me explain kind of what I'm doing and how I wound up here. So we did like a really fun book study. That video is linked on my page and it led us into the Industrial Revolution and we kind of did a deep dive. And then at that point I realized The Good and the Beautiful was just not gonna work for us. It was not hands-on enough. It was not crafty enough for us. It was more like, we're just kind of doing the motions. Like it wasn't fun for any of us. Maybe it's just because we've done that kind of style of learning for so long and we needed to switch it up this year. So at that point, I was like, let me try some history pockets. Well, this is the only one that I've ever been familiar with are these by Evan Moore. Well, I have discovered a new favorite. So let me show you. So these are by, I feel like there is a name, Carson de la Losa Publishing. And so I have got the Westward Expansion here and the Westward Expansion and Migration packet here. And so what I'm doing is I am not using all of these for us. I'm kind of picking the ones that I want to touch on that kind of go with this because in my opinion, this is more for the older grades. So keep in mind, I do have a 7th and 8th grader. So this is more for my 7th and 8th grader, even though this says grades 4 to 6. I feel like the material in this is more appropriate for them. And then I'm using this with all of them, but with my 2nd grader in mind. So these history pockets by Evan Moore have a lot more of the crafty type stuff in them. They have, like so far, for instance, he has made a Daniel Boone, and then I don't have it on hand, but we talked about the animals, and he has like an animal mobile that he's created for the animals on the plains when they were doing like the westward type expansion. And if you are not familiar, let me touch base on this. If you're not familiar with what history pockets are, okay, I'm sure I'm doing this differently. Actually, I think this one is different than how they designed it, but we have done history pockets before and this is how I've always done them. So this is how I'm going to share. So you have a cover page. So this is the Moving West. And then what they mean by pockets is, quite literally pockets. So each unit is a new pocket. And so each unit has, fast facts that they cut out. Like this one had a map of the westward movement. And this one also had a timeline. And so this was from the Introduction to the Moving West packet. So this is just a very hands-on way of learning. So yes, this is actually one of my middle schoolers that I'm showing you as the example. So I had them do what I felt like was appropriate for the middle school portion of this in what I'm calling a history folder, so you don't get confused. So this is the history folder. And I had my elementary student do that plus the craft. So that is how we tied those in together. My middle schoolers very much can sit down and color and all of that while I'm teaching. No problem. You can see in the chalkboard behind me, I take notes for them and help them bring it to life, so to speak. So this brings history to life more so than just reading a text out of a book, if that makes sense. So when I refer to the pockets, this is what I mean. Now I'm going to move on to what I'm going to refer to as our integrative notebooks. Okay, so this is here. Okay, I'm going to give you a little peeky peek, okay, but I'm not doing this video yet. We have our science here, not integrative. I don't know why I said that. Interactive, I'm so sorry. Interactive notebooks. I've done a lot of filming today. So interactive meaning like it is very hands-on. We're interacting as we're learning, okay? So this is the one that the Carson de la Losa stuff is going in, and I'm only having my 7th and 8th grader do this portion of the history, if that makes sense. If there's any questions, please leave them below, but I hope I'm explaining it so that you can understand how I'm bringing two curriculums together. So for our interactive history notebooks, I have a tab with them here. And so they have at the beginning, they have a westward expansion timeline, and all you do is you just take it and you run copies for them, okay? So interactive notebooks are supposed to be very hands-on. So it is a hands-on style of learning instead of just sitting there taking notes, okay? So I'm teaching it to them, and they're creating their own notebook, right? So here you can see this was the Louisiana Purchase. So they have lift the flap tabs. You see how it is? It's so cool. It's so fun. Lift the flap tabs. So they write the definition of Louisiana Purchase. And then he wanted to make his own like pocket for that with the information that they give them for that. So I love that. And I let them be as creative as they want with this. And then over here we have the next unit that we did, which was the Lewis and Clark expedition. And so this is all... This part is not lift the flap. I think it was supposed to be. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Lift the flap, and then important people all lift the flap. So you kind of are getting the gist of how this curriculum works. And then again, he created a pocket. So I do love this. Each unit, or whatever you want to call it, comes with like key details for them to look over. And this is important because I have them use this in their notebooking journals. So it comes with this for them to keep. And then it also comes with the interactive style learning that you've just seen in some of the other pages. So a combination of, so if anything out of the Carson de la Losa book is lining up with what's in here specifically, like just the unit specifically, then we're doing those together on the same day, and it's worked beautifully. I've had no issues with that. This has been, for me, very fun to teach. So this is the interactive notebook. This is the one that I would recommend. It is the interactive notebook, Westward Expansions, grades 5 through 8. And this one covers the Louisiana Territory, Moving West, the California Gold Rush, Manifest Destiny, Trails West, and Native Americans. And it is really good, really detailed. It's just really, really, really well done in my personal opinion. So I have them do that. And then one of the assignments that they have in their book was to do a drawing, like a page, an interactive page for them, notebooking style. And so they were supposed to title it like Westward Expansion, and then each unit that we cover, they're going to add a little bit to here. I find, for me personally, that notebooking is a way for my children to retain the information that they've learned. It is a way for my older students to be crafty without doing the younger kid crafts that are in here, meaning like the extra stuff, like I showed you the Davy Crockett, this little thing. So it's a way for them to be creative and crafty without doing the stuff that the elementary students still enjoy doing. Not that they don't, it's just a different way for them to retain information in a more mature manner. So they have that. Here's my daughters. I have permission to show these. And then in addition to that, since I do find that notebooking is a way that they retain most of their information versus, so we have the chalkboard learning style, then we have interactive notebooking, we have hands-on crafts from the history pockets. This is an additional way for them to go over the information that they learn. Like for instance, we did Texas independence the other day, and then they had to notebook about that. So here's hers, and he has not finished his writing for that, but here is the start of my son's. He chose to do the Mexican-American War. So I have thoroughly enjoyed this history. You can see all the different kind of learning styles coming together. So where some kids may learn by me writing it on the board and then copying it in their interactive notebooks, that's great. Others learn by drawing and writing it in their own words, and that's great. And then for the younger ages, we have the more like, we're gonna print it out for you, you're gonna color it, you're gonna kind of repeat it to me kind of style learning, and that's great. And so they're all sitting around the table. And you may ask, like, what are my younger ones doing? Well, great question. I don't have it sitting here, but I do have a little clip that I filmed over on Instagram. So if you want to see what an actual day looks like of us doing this type of history, go over to the High Tide Hive on Instagram and you can see that. But they had like little bowls of the little beads, and they put them on, and they made like little corn to go with one. And then I always have paper and scissors and glue, and they think it's the grandest thing. And I always have Play-Doh sitting out. Like, this is a time for our family to come around the table together and to enjoy one another. Also, for the younger age kids, I do picture books. Okay, so even though the information may be above their head, they love sitting around and looking at a picture book together, right? So I'm gonna also share the books that I'm using with this unit study, so that if you're interested, all of mine came from the library, except one. So utilize your library. If you're not doing that, it's free, and there is a wealth of knowledge and information at your library. So I will get into that in a minute. So you can make this as big of a unit as you want to, or you can just do what's required, right? But I always go a little extra because I feel like that's the kind of stuff that brings the learning to life, if that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, I found this really great book series, and it's by Verla Kay. Here's the name here. And so by her, we have the Gold Fever for the Gold Rush. We have the Iron Horse for the railroads. We have Homespun Sarah here. And then there's one more. I got the Covered Wagons here. So those are all beautifully illustrated. I can show you a couple of glimpses, there we go, of the pictures and the information that are in them. They're just beautifully done. So of course, all of my kids like sitting around and looking at this information. When I get through filming this, I think I may do a reel of these for Instagram. So if you want to see a more in detailed look at these, look out on my Instagram page for those. And then I also found the Wild Wild West. This is a really neat book that has the these little sheer pages in it, which I always love these when I'm finding books. So this is just like a picture book, more so that they've resourced for their notebooking. And then last but not least, a lot of our history this year is coming from these Who Was books. And Spunky Science, you can find her on Instagram, on Etsy, and on Teachers Pay Teachers. She has drawn out the Who Was people with all the little bubbles, kind of like my son did for the P.T. Barnum, which that's in another video on Andy and the Circus. So if you want to see more about that, you can check out that video. But we are reading Who Was Thomas Jefferson and What Was the Gold Rush together. And then while we're doing this, I know this sounds like a lot, but it's really not. I'm having my daughter read Who Was Laura Ingalls Wilder, and then my son is reading the Lewis and Clark. And so then they will have to notebook that when they're through with that and just write facts and information on that. So yeah, this has been a breath of fresh air. Let me tell you, as a mom of 6, I mean a breath of fresh air teaching history this style and just bringing everybody around the table. And it seems to be something that everybody's loving and they're learning a ton. I'm learning a ton. 10 out of 10, and I don't say that often. Highly recommend. So thanks for being here. Please, again, like and subscribe to my channel if you've not already. Give me a comment on this video and let me know what you thought, and let me know what you want to see in the next videos. Until next time, I hope you all have a blessed afternoon, a blessed day, and thanks again for being here.